Hey, folks, welcome to Total Male Introspective, episode 102. I'm already fumbling over my words. Episode 102. I'm Joe.
I'm JC.
Yeah, JC and Jonesy talking at the same time. We'll try not to do that the rest of the show. We'd like to welcome you guys. We really appreciate the support we got last time. A lot of positive feedback. So we're going to come at you with some new ideas, some hot topics. We're going to do a top 5 dead or alive list, which is going to be the most short-lived quarantine fads. Perfect example is puzzles. So if you want to throw some comments into the comment thread right there on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, not Instagram because it failed again. So I'm going to have to troubleshoot with that in the future because we would like to go live on Instagram as well for everybody. But, you know,
check out our Instagram, though, while you're at it, though.
Great content. Total_male_introspective. We are going to also like to tell you guys about Patreon. If you guys don't know what Patreon is, if you're not avid podcast people, Patreon, it's across the ticker right now, patreon.com/the TMI Podcast. It is where you can support the show. You can throw $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, just to help us out getting some of these software platforms paid for, some new equipment if needed. Maybe Jonesy might need a microphone upgrade in the near future because JC and I have the fancy stuff. So
yeah, when we're cheap, for hooking us up.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, guys. That's what I got for you. Right now, we figured it'd be a good way to start the show if we started off with some good news because everybody's got the negative news all the time. They're always just, fire and brimstone left and right every day. So some positive news. Who wants to start off?
Man, 2020 has been really rough, but hopefully this will put a smile on some people's faces here.
Yeah. I'm supposed to do the intro part, aren't I?
Let's put a smile on that face. All right. So our first good news is I want to give a shout out to Michelle Brenner. Michelle Brenner, she was a newswear store employee, and she got furloughed. She got laid off because of the coronavirus and 2020 being really terrible to everyone. But she did get a stimulus check from the government. Thank you, CARES Act. With that $1,200 that she got, she went out and she was going to buy groceries for all of her friends. And she noticed that all of her friends had frozen lasagna on their list. And she had a great recipe for lasagna. So what she decided to do was she decided to make 1,200 trays of lasagna for not only her and her friends, but also the healthcare workers and the first responders, EMTs, paramedics, police, firefighters, everyone around her neighborhood and in the city that she lived in. She even went and brought her lasagna, her grandmother's recipes lasagna to prisons and multiple different places. So if you get a chance, check her out on the goodnewsnetwork.org. Just kind of one of her quotes was, "I can't change the world, but I can make lasagna." So hopefully a smile on everyone's face.
Some positivity for us these days. Come on.
Man, it sounds like she gave lasagna to literally everyone but the TMI podcast. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. How come I didn't get lasagna?
For that second round of lasagna, I definitely want the second round of stimulus checks. I definitely want some lasagna. Okay, going forward.
Absolutely. She actually put it up on Facebook and all of her work that she was doing on Facebook, and somebody picked it up, and she put a Facebook fundraiser up, and she earned $22,000 from mostly strangers on Facebook that just wanted to donate because they felt like she was doing a great job. And so she was able to really create and make more lasagna. And she said she's going to continue making lasagna for the rest of the year for everyone.
Damn, that's awesome.
That's some good news right there. All right. So I'm going to take it to where I'm actually supposed to be right now, and that is Hawaii. And I want to give a shout out to Ocean Voyages, the Institute. this past week, they made some really big history. For those of you who don't know, there's literally something that's called like Garbage Island that's floating in the Pacific Ocean. And this past week, what ended up happening is this voyage company went out and they collected 103 tons of garbage out of the ocean. And that's just insane to think that there's 103 tons floating around. And, taking a look at the math, this plastic trash island is roughly 48 tons. So they didn't even put a huge dent into the overall pickup, but to date, the tons that they picked up most recently was, completely amazing and a great way to clean up the ocean for us.
Especially since Hawaii is some of the most one of the last like places that feel like it's like untouched by man. I guess you can tell there's obviously man has touched it, but that sounds creepy. I got to reword that. Rewind. Okay.
We're talking about Hawaii and not Sandusky, right?
Yeah, not Biden. We're talking about Hawaii. Oh, come on. Come on. We're about to bash the two-party system. Both sides are going to get it today, folks.
He's not the only one getting it today.
Yeah, Hawaii is an amazing place, and to see any sort of pollution there just really upsets me because, as JC and Matt know, it's one of my favorite places on planet Earth. I've been there 3 times over the last 4 years. It's just once you go there, if you can afford to go back, not like I could afford to go back 3 times, but I did anyway. Yeah, JC, I'm sorry. Good.
No, I just want to make note that, what these people are doing to help clean up the ocean is really important because with so much turmoil that's going on in the world, we sometimes forget that, on top of, racism and on top of the COVID pandemic, we also have like climate change that's occurring, the polar ice caps are melting, the water's filthy. And so what I wanted to do is make sure that, we're still bringing light and making sure that people know that there are good people who are out there who is trying to make an impact, for ourselves, for our future and our kids' future.
Yeah, it's great, man. I'm very happy to hear that. Can I pop in with mine?
Yeah.
Let me give you guys some good news. Hairstylists that were infected with COVID-19. I know COVID-19 is usually negative news. We got some positive COVID-19 news. So the Rona, I guess we'll call this the Rona, the hairstylists were wearing masks and they strictly enforced that their clients wear masks. They had 140 clients that they had after they got tested and came up positive. They tracked back to how long they had been positive with the coronavirus, and not one of their clients got sick. The staff had it. The clients didn't get sick because both people, the staff and the clients, decided to strictly wear the masks and follow the procedure. It was in Springfield where? I have to scroll through.
Isn't there like a Springfield in like every state?
Missouri. Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, there is, right?
Shout out to The Simpsons.
All right, The Simpsons. So it's Springfield, Missouri. They were so excited that they were able to prove that the mask system works when both people were wearing it, and there was plenty of clients that did not get it. And to me, that is fantastic news because it shows, the numbers in New York should have shown everybody that if you do it right, it'll diminish greatly and quickly. But I just think that it's so positive to see that this is a thing that people are arguing against. No, it doesn't work. Screw that mask, blah, blah, blah. But this is kind of a big time experiment where 140 people came in there after they know they were infected. They traced it back to where they got it from, and they knew that they were infected before that. So I think it was like 7 days, they had 140 people came in. They made them wear masks. They wore masks. Bam. Nobody got it. Yay. A win for the good guys.
Yeah. I'm wondering if if the hair salon's owned by Magic Johnson, these are people who are positive, but not spreading it. So
yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that one, but I like it. Landed. So that was our quick good news segment. I think we'll open up the show every week with we got Sim chiming in saying You mean New Jersey isn't listening? No, Jersey did a pretty good job too. But we just lump you guys in as like the little brother of New York. You're just involved. You're just like, we count you as New York.
Jersey was listening. Jersey's listening. Jersey's doing a great job. Now, I just had to drive through Ohio and Kentucky, and they're struggling a bit. They're struggling. But we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there with them.
Let's hope so. All right. I think it's time to move on to our second segment. And I'm going to pop up the info here, and then JC.
All right, ladies and gents. So this new section here is called Top 5 Dead or Alive. This is a big shout out to our people back in White Plains who, love our locks. And so what we want to do is give you a listing of current topics that are important to us. And so today we are going to go with the top 5 quarantine fads that have occurred. And so I'm going to take the lead on this one and say the first on my top 5 list is the quarantine body. Okay. So this was definitely a fad that occurred during this entire process. And, some people, it went 2 ways. Some people were just like, hey, I'm just going to eat as much as I want, get fat and chubby and move to Miami. And then there were those people who decided that they were going to work out like mad dogs and get that beach body ready. I'm not sure where I fall in this camp right now, but I'm definitely someone who loves to eat. And my Hawaii body went by the wayside really quickly.
I'm one of the people that actually maintained. I didn't gain. I didn't lose. But now I have to lose. I've lost more weight in the last few weeks because the doctor told me I'm an idiot and I'm going to kill myself if I keep eating pizza every meal of the day and stuff like that. Get my act together there. But yeah.
Wait, was there pineapple on your pizza by any chance?
No, I've tried that. It's not horrible. I see people freaking out about it. I mean, I'm fat, so I'll eat anything, really. So I'll try it once or twice.
But, God forbid we put a veggie pizza in front of you, Joe.
No, I like that too, though. That's the problem. I like all that. I like everything. I just like everything.
I don't know. I struggle with the veggie pizza. Now, the quarantine snacks, there's numerous quarantine snacks that I love.
Everything.
All right. Well, all right. So number 2 on this list, we're going to go with group video chats. Remember when everyone was really trying to just kind of be together and we were all in this together? What happened to that? I go on House Party recently and no one's on there. What happened to my Zoom happy hours? I'm beginning to think that people don't like me, but then I also realize just people aren't really using group video chats anymore. So number 2 on our list of short-lived quarantine fads are group video chats.
Yeah. That was like House Party was fun, but they had the games you could play with your friends. Like you were having a game night in your living room, but then it was the same games with the same outcomes and the same cards and the same drawing. Like the Pictionary style game had the same stuff. Draw a tree, draw a moon. So after a while, I was like, how many Saturday nights in a row could you spend drawing the same trees and moons?
Saturday night, I think every day was Saturday during quarantine.
At the beginning, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
We also had puzzles, right? Puzzles.
Oh, puzzles were huge. What happened to those?
Amazon was out of puzzles.
Walmart was out of puzzles.
Yeah. How does Walmart run out of anything? I'll never get. They just have a stock of just everything in the back. There's no way they run out of puzzles or anything.
I think it was
toilet paper.
Yeah. I think it was funny when everybody was doing the puzzles. It was used to be like, oh, we ordered a 10,000 piece puzzle. We're so excited. And then they show a picture of it like 1/3 of the way done. And they're like, screw this. We're done.
More wine. We need more wine.
Exactly.
I never understood like gluing your puzzles and then like displaying them. I never understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people love to do that.
Can't do them again. I guess if you put all the work in, you want to display it on your wall. Like, screw you guys. I finished that puzzle. I did it. I'm not a complete waste of life.
Yeah.
It's proof I found something constructive to do with my time.
It really started getting really bad though. Like, you go to these like stores and you can't find puzzles, and then all of a sudden, like, your little kid has a puzzle, and then you're like, oh no, you don't want to do this right now. I can't tell you how many times I did a Frozen puzzle that was like only like 10 pieces, and I was just like proud of myself.
Marco's chiming in saying, "Who does puzzles more than once?" I think most people do. No, I guess with kids,
you do puzzles more than once. No.
Wait, seriously? People do puzzles more than once?
No, I would do a puzzle more than once. You got to destroy it and bring it back.
Oh man, we found out who the simp in this podcast is.
So what did we name? We named 3 things. What else did we have here?
Number 4, I got a good one for number 4. Online poker. Online poker is a big one. I am an avid poker player. I love poker, and it's not quite legal in every state yet, but there's ways to get around that. But from what my friends from Pennsylvania have and New Jersey have really talked about how PokerStars has really totally increased their revenue and has totally increased their users that are playing right now. And all of a sudden, 2.5 months later, I don't know if people just went broke, but they're back to where they were before Corona. So that was definitely a fad that had a real high point, and then game crash took a news dive big time.
Jonesy, you're looking really slim right nowadays, inside of the Shining Overlook Hotel. And shout out to Marco for that joke. I definitely took it from him. But I want to say, though, but you're talking about poker and you're looking quite slim. I mean, can you not afford to eat because you're losing in poker? That's why you're looking so slim right now?
No, I definitely. Let's just say I hide some of my funds from my wife at times.
Okay.
So Marco said Overlook. I was going to go with Candyland from Django because Matt's also in Kentucky. I feel like that fits the Django Unchained vibe. The stripe was the photos. It's a nice looking place, though.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
What else? We got one more, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's tons and tons of things that are fads inside of quarantine. So all of our listeners and those who are watching, toss up what your top 5 are. But I think I'm going to end it with developing new skills. That seems like a lot of people try to do that. I think one new skill that I tried to learn or do was learn Italian. And that didn't go so well. I know my name is Je m'appelle JC. Oui. And then all of a sudden I start speaking Spanish because I'm really bad at learning new languages.
Wasn't that French, bro?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I tried to learn a new language and it just all started to blend together. It's reminds me of that time that we went to UC Santa Barbara to see AJ, and I'm trying to ask what kind of food is being served at this Mexican restaurant, and I keep saying "Que tiempo," this food, right? Like "Que tiempo," comida, and the guy keeps telling me it's 8:30. Asking him what time is the food.
Yeah, that was a fail.
Yeah, so I think that learning new skills has been definitely in the top 5 fads that occurred during quarantine this year. But we would love to hear more from y'all to really get a sense of what y'all think is top 5 fads that occurred during this period of time.
Yeah, pop them up in the comments and we'll pop back to them if we hear a good one. And we done? Did we hit the 5? We hit the 5?
Yeah, definitely 5.
All
right. I think, Jonesy, why don't you let us know what's up next, buddy?
All right, next we got the hot topic for the week, and something that we always talk about, something that we always chat about in WhatsApp and chat when we're actually able to see each other and stuff like that, is how our government really kind of sucks.
It's just
it's really, really it's really disappointing us right now, as far as our presidential candidates, as far as Congress, and as far as everything that's going on right now. I just feel like all of our political candidates are doing the wrong things all the time, and I think we figured out what the problem is. And we'd like to share that with you guys. So we're going to talk about how the two-party system in this country has kind of really broken our Constitution.
All right, the two-party system is broken. If you guys can't tell, it's a constant back and forth. The Democrats get into the White House, they undo all the Republicans' laws and policies, and vice versa. It's a 4 to 8 year pendulum swing of undoing positive things, and maybe some people think it's positive when they undo it. Some people think it's negative when it's just a back and forth of BS. It's just not conducive to us getting forward in this country with progress. You can't have progress if you keep going backwards. And that's what we have seen, and which a lot of people are starting to pick up on, especially since this is the second presidential election in a row where a majority of people can't stand both candidates, both major candidates from both parties. So I did write a little 3-page rant that I'm going to share bits and pieces of with you guys. I had a couple of, I'm not going to do the whole thing. Come on. I mean, we don't have all night. I've got game night to do after this. So the thing that really, what?
I said another fad.
Yeah, game night. Board games, right. Board games. We were all playing board games. So the Republicans put forward a police reform bill, and it didn't have to go through to become law right away. I mean, it was obviously just to get voted in to be discussed on the floor, just so that they could get the ball rolling, and the Democrats could have had the opportunity to make amendments and make suggestions and whatnot. Excuse me. The problem was, and it was a black Republican senator, so I mean, that seems important to me, being that there's a lot of racial tension with this situation, with the police situation, current police situation. So the Republicans put forward a bill to Congress, the police reform bill, and it seemed to be helpful to both minorities and police. It was kind of trying to help everybody out in one big situation. Now, the problem here is that the Democrats voted it down harshly. Like, it's just an all-out, no, we're not bringing it to the floor. And this kind of sparked my thought process. They did that because they couldn't let the Republicans have a win going into a presidential election, which made me think they're not doing this for the people. They're doing this for the party. And that's where I started to really think that the party was more important than the people at this time in the election cycle, which to me proves that the system's broken. Because Abraham Lincoln said this is for the people, by the people. The government is for the people, by the people. But if it's for the people and by the people, these aren't people that have everyone's best interest in mind. They have the party's interest in mind. They want to keep their seats. They want to get reelected. They have an issue. We have an issue with term limits, especially in Congress. They're all freaking ancient artifacts, these people. Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, we look like we took them out of an ancient Egyptian tomb and put them in seats in Congress. I mean, they're 8 million years old combined. I mean, really, seriously, our Congress is probably 8 million years old combined.
Their bedrooms are down the hallway from where Jonesy's staying right now.
Yeah. So I said there was a political agenda that caused the Democrats to vote against the Republicans. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. And people scoff at that and say the third party will never win. But if we allow the system to continue the way it is, the people will never win. Because a two-party power struggle leaves us all in the dust. They just want votes. They just want to look good in the headlines. They want to look good going into elections. And that's not what helps us as a country. It's, yes, you want to look good, but you want to look good for the things you're doing for the people, not what just looks good to your voter base. And I hope people can understand the thin line of the difference there is you should be doing things to help the majority, not just everybody. Oh, you're just helping the Democrats or you're just helping the Republicans? It shouldn't be just helping. Everybody that's in this country is a person that should be getting helped by their government, not just the Democrats helping Democrats and the Republicans helping Republicans. It's broken. It's split down the middle. And we're going to have debates. And these debates are going to be a joke because we have Biden and Trump. Trump's a witty guy. He says a lot of dumb stuff, and he's a butthead. A-hole. I'm trying not to curse, but he's an a-hole when he speaks. But Biden right now is so lost. He seems senile. And you're going to put these two guys up on stage, and it's not going to do anything for the American people. It's just going to be revenue drive for the news agencies, whoever's producing and airing these debates. They're going to make a lot of money off of it, but it's not going to do anything for us. We already know what's going on. We already know Trump's going to make comments and jokes. He's going to say some mean, hateful stuff. Biden's going to make up dog-faced pony soldier comments, and I don't even know what that even means, but he said that a couple times, and I just laugh when I hear it. But so Trump's probably going to look great in these debates by default. And that's the problem we're having here is the elite are choosing our candidates. They're choosing who we're supposed to vote for and telling us third parties can't be involved, can't win, even though a lot of third-party candidates like the Libertarian, I am partial because I am Libertarian, Jo Jorgensen, JoJ2020.com, just in case you guys want to check her out. The idea is everyone keeps saying you can't win, so don't try. Now, if everyone said you can't win, don't try when it was slavery, we'd still be in a way less civil society, a way less modern society. We'd have slaves. It would be terrible. So to say something just can't happen and to just live with it, it doesn't work for me, because if everybody did that, then we'd never have any progress in this country. So I guess I covered all of my main points.
Yep.
Term limits, 2020 has taught us so much. Third-party voting is very important. Oh, the founding fathers definitely did not want this, and I'm going to let Jonesy take that over. But real quick, I will say people, this is a proof of the party trying to show you illusions of change. Let me just finish up with this. The illusion of change. That's what they both want, Democrats, Republicans. Illusion of change. Every major city has the highest homeless rates, highest violent crime rates, worst police and legal corruption. So police systems and legal systems are both very corrupt, are all Democrat. Most of them. I mean, all of them, maybe. New York, LA, Chicago. So they tell you, remember who to vote for to bring about change. Vote blue to bring about change. But they've been in office for 40 or 50 years, and they're not changing anything. They just keep the same problems that they keep telling you they're going to fix to gain votes, not help the people. So that's where I have a problem with that. And the Republicans are no better. They're very, very, very affected by their lobbyists. They have a plethora. I was trying to say plethora. We'll get there. Plethora of lobbyists that give them money and say, we want the guns to be supported. We want pro-life to be supported. And they just take the money for the campaigns and they roll with it. And that's how now our laws and policies are created on the Republican side. So the Democrats have the illusion of change. The Republicans are bought and paid for. None of this helps the people. Nothing. None of it. It's just nonsense. It's just the illusion of them trying to change things when really they're just in a cycle of 48 years pendulum swing of power. All right, your guys, you can talk now.
Oh boy.
Wow. That was a pretty good rant there. Jeez. That was a pretty good one. So just to add on to that, the founding fathers, I'm a history buff and I keep up with that stuff. But the founding fathers, one of the things that they talked about, especially George Washington and John Adams, he talked about how a division of the republic into two great parties is to be dreaded as the great political evil. So essentially what he's trying to say there is, the two parties that we have right now, they're more interested in beating each other than they are to actually help us beat them. And how did we get into this situation? We got into this situation through the lack of voting, through the lack of caring, through the lack of not understanding how your vote matters and why it matters. Because a lot of people, they say a lot of people vote only during presidential elections. And when you only vote during presidential elections, then that means you're not voting for Congress. You're not voting for your local mayor. You're not voting for your state senators and your state Congress people. You're not voting for any of these people that could bring about change, not only in your local area, but your state, but also the people that you're sending to Congress. Okay. These people have more power than even the president at times, because they are the ones that are going to stop and block all of these bills. And they're creating bills just to beat each other. And it has nothing to do with us and helping us. It has very little to do with us and helping us. When we create protests and we go against our government, then all of a sudden now they're listening, when we've been saying it for decades and decades about certain things that need to go on. They're silent because it doesn't matter, because it does not gain votes. So
right.
a lot of times what people need to hear, and what my message is going to be, is make sure that you get out there and you vote for your state congressman. That make sure you vote for your local mayor, your local town council, whatever you have, however your local government is set up, because not everybody has a mayor. Make sure you're voting for your state legislators, and make sure you're voting for your state Congress people, because at times it's even more important than voting for our president, because our president can only do so much. There's a reason we have separation. We have a lot of separation of power in our Constitution. The states have a lot more power in our country than they do in any other country in the world. So your local government is extremely important. Your governor, and you have to make sure that you're voting in your midterm elections so that we can bring about this change. Now, what you can do is we have to start with Congress, and we have to start with our local elections, because that's where we can start bringing alternate third-party candidates to the fold. Okay, right. Because now, if you have an independent.
Do you guys know that this year that 88% of Congress is up for election? 88% of the entire Congress in the United States is up for election this year.
Now, if you want to bring about change, that's how you bring about change.
Get them out.
Our president can only do so much because of the way our government is built. Yes, our president can create bills and send them to Congress and get them approved, but they have to be approved. Yes, our president can also create executive, what do you call those? Executive decisions. Executive orders. Yes, he can create executive orders, but they only last for so long. So yes, our president can do a lot, but the way we can bring about long-standing change is making sure that we have the right people in Congress, because the Congress has to reflect its people, and currently that's not the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree with you on that. Actually, I think I have a good solution that a lot of people really are unaware of. I'll be honest with myself. I wasn't familiar with this option, but my friend Liz Kleinrock, and shout out to Liz and her Teach and Transform platform that she has, but she introduced me to what's called ranked choice voting, right? And pretty much what ranked choice voting is a way to create a better democracy for all of us. For those of you who are unaware of what ranked choice voting is, basically it's, voters rank candidates in order of preference from first to last. So if you have 3 candidates, you would rank them in order, 1, 2, 3, however you want it to be. Then the votes are all counted. And if someone has the majority of the votes, 50%, so then they're declared to be the winners. If someone doesn't get the majority of the votes, then we begin to narrow down the field by removing the candidate that had the fewest votes on the ballot. And then those votes from those individuals who are on the last are moved and then to whoever they had in number 2. And then they're recasted to those voters for a second choice. So, and after that retally, if one of the candidates now has a majority, then we have a winner. And if we don't have a winner, then we keep going until we finally have a candidate that has majority of the vote. And what's really great about ranked choice is the fact that candidates, they have to reach out to all of the voters that are out there. So you won't have negative partisanship. And there's no wasted votes. So
Joe Biden sniffs hair. Do you want a hair sniffer as your president? Donald Trump is a racist. Do you want a racist as your those ads, TJC? We don't want those, right?
No, yeah, we don't want those. And so by having the ranked choice option, this allows for third parties to actually grow. And so, we can really see how we can really decide on a candidate that we all can agree on, or a candidate that, is in favor of some of the things that we would agree, then, having to choose, a winner takes all approach that is currently in the US right now. What do y'all think about that?
Oh, I think you're I watched. I'm going to shout out because it was the Patriot Act on Netflix. Hassan Minhaj. We discussed it last week, but these guys told me to go watch it, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And this is where I learned the first time I learned about ranked choice voting. I had no idea it was even a possibility. And I think Jones, you said there were some states that were pulling it off already.
Yeah, so the states that I have that are pulling it off for presidential nominations. Now, this is for presidential nominations. However, there's states that are doing it for other
gubernatorial. I did it.
Gubernatorial. You said it.
I said it right.
We were practicing that earlier because that's hard to say. So Alaska, Nevada, Hawaii, Kansas, and Wyoming. Shout out to them because they did all their Democratic primary was ranked choice voting this year. And upcoming, we have New York City adopted it for 2021. So we're loving that. Palm Desert, California, East Hampton, Massachusetts, Benton County, Oregon, Amherst, Massachusetts coming up, and then ranked choice voting is used statewide in the state of Maine. So check it out. A good place that you can learn more about ranked choice voting is the Broken Two-Party System by Hassan Minhaj. If you have Netflix, if you're watching the Patriot Act on Netflix, but you can also go to fairvote.org. If you go to fairvote.org, you can learn more about ranked choice voting, and in addition to other things that they're doing, such as gerrymandering, unfair representation, and things that they're doing about voter suppression. I know there was a comment about voter suppression as well.
That was a positive comment. You know what? I am going to put this. I accidentally clicked this, but hell yeah, I'm going to put this up. This is awesome, guys. Thanks, John. You're saying,
hey, Simo, what's up?
I accidentally clicked evil. But I'm happy I did. I was going to put up the voter suppression. So now mail-in ballots is actually something we could throw around for a second because I don't agree with it. Matt and I have gone back and forth. JC's kind of like just listening to two of us rant at each other. I think that it comes down with mail-in ballots. I see a lot of possibility for voter fraud. I mean, to not have someone check in a place or even check in on an online platform that's got a high level of security with a voter ID or some sort of situation like that. But there's been a few people caught with mail-in ballots in certain situations where they were cheating the system, somehow got their hands on ballots. There was ballots sent to the houses of dead people that have been deceased. People that weren't even old enough to vote got mail-in ballots. So unless the system, and also let's talk about the United States Postal Service, by me, is absolute crap. So, I mean, you put your
is that
vote,
crack or crap?
Crap.
Okay.
Hot dumpster fire, if you will. So now you're putting it in the hands of my opinion is I feel like it's just too many ways it could be messed up. You know what I mean? Like a bag of voter ballots gets lost at the postal service, and you know what I mean? There's just so much room for error. There's so much room for tampering. And as we know, everybody these days are very extreme, which is another reason why the two-party system is broken, because everybody's either over here or over here, and they just keep getting further apart with the fact that you only have the two choices, and then people the left tries to one-up the right, and the right tries to one-up the left, and they both just end up crazy. Yeah. So the mail-in ballots, I think, could be tampered with way too easily for it to be valid unless there's an extreme overhaul on the concept of the system. Online, maybe. I know people get iffy about online security, but... Right. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think.
Well, I was going to just time it. Well, first, big shout out to Mike Smith, Sig Pie brother, right there. But then to his point, can we vote by mail? And I think what's ended up happening, to just piggyback off of Joe's comment, is the fact that
I'll be Jake if you want.
From State Farm.
I'll be Jake. What am I wearing?
Jake from State Farm. But when it comes to the mail-in ballots, they're going to be checking for your signatures to make sure that your signature matches the signature that you sign on the mail-in ballot. There's also going to be your social security number that's going to be on it. You're not going to be able to send in mail-in ballots from out of state. If you are registered in New York, I wouldn't be expecting your mail-in ballot to be coming from DC. also, when it comes to mail-in ballots, you do them in advance, and you're able to check to see if your mail-in ballot made it. So those are just 3 different ways that the government can
upgrade.
Check. Well, I mean, those are ways that we're going to go forward, in especially in California, with mail-in ballots. So there's a lot of ways for checks and balances when it comes to the mail-in ballots. And so I think people are just being like overly cautious when it comes to them, and they're just trying to poke holes into create like voter suppression as well. And that's what it basically comes down to, because there's a ton of people who don't have the ability to take off work on election day. You know what? If we really want to get everyone in this country to vote, what we need to do is we need to eliminate President's Day as a holiday and make Election Day a national holiday in its place. I can't think of no better way for our founding fathers than to make it easier to participate in the democracy they founded. At the end of the day, the United States voting system,
I love that,
is not all voices are counted, and the 2-party system is literally what the founding fathers were trying to avoid. And so by having these mail-in votes, or having Election Day being a holiday, we're really beginning to give people that opinion and that voice, and making them know that their vote does count. One story that I like to bring up when people say, "Oh, my vote doesn't count," is the fact that, if votes didn't count, like, we're 1 vote away in America from speaking German and not English. I'm not 100% sure if that fact is true, but I've heard it enough to believe that it's true.
That's one of the things. You hear something enough, you actually do believe that it is true. And there's a lot of misinformation out there about all of this stuff, including voter fraud and things like that. I think the voter fraud is a lot lower than what people think it actually is. But the fact that there could be a high chance for voter fraud, Joe, is something that we've talked about.
Sure.
Has really kind of changed my mind on this, how it could be used for voter fraud. I was also speaking to one of my math teacher friends, and he was saying that statistically, you get a better outcome of what people want if people make the effort to go to the polls rather than having them fill out a ballot at home. But that's another story. I'll get more information on that if people want to know about it in the comments. But I think that what did that say?
John tried to chime it in with, fun fact, founding fathers were so opposed to all things English, they almost had German as the official language before deciding on no state official language. So JC is correct. He put quote unquote correct, because I guess he corrected him a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, John.
But I know that school districts, when they were doing mail-in ballots for school districts and their school budget votes, they were checking the addresses that they were getting the envelopes from, and they were checking the signatures, and they were checking all that stuff. And in my particular district, there's a high chance for voter fraud, because there's a group of people that always try to infiltrate the school board and the influence the elections somehow. So there is, and we didn't have much of it, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen. I think the answer, to be honest with you, in my opinion, the answer to this is just moving it to online. If you are okay with your online banking and that security, then you should be okay with voting online as well. Creating a password for yourself through the state system and doing it that way as well. It's something that you could also use the blockchain for. I know people, oh my God, Bitcoin.
Oh boy.
You could also,
we go again.
But wait, you're more okay. You're more okay with us doing voting online than mailing it in. I mean, like,
so. I am.
Okay, but just think about the amount of effort you have to go through to mail it in. Like, that proves to me that you are more invested in voting than doing it online. I don't disagree with you that doing it online would be a lot easier and maybe get more people involved. But I do think that there are also its pitfalls when it comes to online, because it's probably a lot easier to create someone, like a digital footprint of someone, than it would be to, physically go take their mail-in ballot from their house, go to the post office and send it out, as opposed to just, click and submit on a candidate.
In the days of email, that's a very daunting task. I know. I agree.
John chimed in again with PS Side Story. The reason why Election Day is not a federal holiday is now, modern times, rooting in the systematic voter suppression of the non-elites, which makes sense. If you can't get off work, you can't vote. And I don't appreciate that. Everyone should have a chance to go to the polling booth, the ballot box, whatever.
Yeah,
you said it right the first time.
I did say it right the first time. Plethora and gubernatorial got me all messed up today trying to say words. They certainly are words.
I mean, just think about how bad our current system is right now. You can become the most powerful person in the world with only 22% of the vote.
Yeah, it's no
think
good.
Think about that. Mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that means 78% of voters did not choose you. And that's not democracy right there.
No, that's the biggest part with the two-party system is it's all or nothing. It's all one side or all the other. Everyone in the middle is screwed. And I'd also like to chime in the lobbyists and all the federal funding for the campaigns only go to the people that currently are in power, the Democrats and the Republicans. Do you know what I'm saying? So everyone's, I didn't even hear about Jo Jorgensen. Well, it's because she doesn't have $100 million in her campaign pocket, in her campaign wallet. She's just grassroots trying to get through to people online. You guys may not agree with some of her ideas. I don't agree with everything she's saying, but I think she's a better leader than the two options we have. Now, I wish she could get it out more to people by getting more ad money, getting more money to have more staff to just handle, for example, my buddy Jay asked me today about her thoughts on education. She said she wants to put education back in the hands of the parents, the parents, the teachers, and the administration over a bunch of buttheads that are sitting up around a table making up tests, standardized tests, and all these things that, Common Core and a lot of ideas, and thought that none of them are even parents or ever worked in the industry of the teaching industry, education industry. So that kind of is something that she had said, and then to dip further into it, when it just says she wants to, the point is the website said she wants the parents, the students, and the administration, the parents, the teachers, and the administration to have more control and take it away from people that have no idea about the education system. Her point was to take the more overreaching standardization of everything for everyone and create more of a charter school kind of situation for each individual location, each individual school, so that the parents, the teachers can get together and decide how to teach their students certain things and what to teach them and how to teach them, instead of just being told, all right, this is how it's got to be in the state. Everybody's got to learn it the same way. Everyone's got to get tested. And if you don't test well, the teachers get fired. That process doesn't work for me, and I don't think it should work for anybody else. So to hear her say that she wants to take it and make it more personalized for the school and the teachers and the students and the parents, that seems to me like the better way to do it. Why wouldn't you want to take the people in the trenches and ask them, how do you think we should teach these kids, and what do you think we should teach these kids? So
yeah, and in this country is a huge push, and I love Mike Bowers' comment right there. If you want to put that up, college isn't for everyone. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I happen to be a special education teacher. We push my kids to college. We do the best that we can, but the thing is, not everyone needs to go to college, and not everyone should go to college. There's plenty of entrepreneurs that never went to college or dropped out of college. There's plenty of people that go to college and don't end up even doing what their degree tells them that they're qualified to do, because they just either couldn't find a job or they lost interest or whatever it may be.
I went to school for radio and television. This is the best thing I can do right now, because I started off in radio and it didn't really make the money, and I left to continue bartending, and now, thank God, technology caught up so I can do this from my kitchen and still get a good production out to you guys.
But the thing about it, if every kid goes to college, then who is going to be doing the work that we need in this country that is absolutely essential to this country, because it's important to have the plumbers. It's important to have the contractors. It's important to have people who work construction and to do the work that is needed that make way more money than even I make as a teacher at times, because, you know, they're doing plumbing. They have a special skill that not many people have. I'm sitting in my brother-in-law's house right now. He's building his house from scratch right now. And I'm like, I could never do that. I didn't go to school for it. But that's the thing. That's the first thing that pops in my head is I didn't go to school for it. So what if you didn't go to school for it? You can with the powers of the internet, you can learn anything right now. Yeah. And so there's people that do need to go to college. Like, obviously you want your doctors and your those people to go to college and things like that. But we're kind of off topic a bit. But
I want to finish the point I was trying to make about I gave you guys the information on her education platform. It's not fully explained, but I know it because I'm following the live stream Q&As that are happening in today's day and age of technology. So I'm hearing what she's saying about it, but she doesn't have enough money to have people constantly updating her website. You know what I mean? She doesn't have a website team and a social media team. She can't because she doesn't have the money to fund that. So it's essentially built this two-party system to keep anybody else from messing with it. That's one thing they can agree on. One thing they can agree on, they don't want it any other way but the way it is. They want it to be a power struggle that hopefully they can win every 4 years. That is it. It does not help the people. Does not give us any progress. It's just the illusion of change. It is just the same pendulum swing of BS every 48 years. And if you can't let a third party with ranked choice voting or getting campaign funds some other alternative way, or maybe reducing the cost of some of these campaign ads, because that's another thing, the media makes money off these campaign ads. You know what I'm saying? So It's a big money cycle of nonsense.
I'm staying out of that media making money comment.
Michael Smith chimed in with Electoral College, but we're running long, so we'll hit the Electoral College and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I feel like
Josie, you want to take the Electoral College?
Yeah, I mean, the Electoral College is something that, you know, it's forgive me if I speak incorrectly, but from my understanding, it was to give smaller states a little bit more power over like New York, not over them, but like similar power.
Equal representation is what you're looking for.
Right. To New York and to LA and Texas and all these big states with these large amounts of people. Because if we went purely popular vote, it would
New York and LA would just be who decided.
It would pretty much decide everything, which I understand, but the Electoral College has failed us numerous times now, in a lot of different ways. So it definitely needs a reform, and it definitely needs to be changed somehow, to allow some more power given back to these bigger states with a lot of people. Because I feel like there's only 4 or 5 states that currently decide our president.
The swing states,
those are the swing states, because a lot of times the other states are purely Democratic or purely Republican and really aren't going to change much.
Tell that to Michigan and Pennsylvania in 2016.
Well, Michigan and Pennsylvania, those are swing states. Yeah, those are the states that people are really targeting. So those people are getting a ton of ads, and they're getting a ton of, change for their state. And the other states are kind of like, well, what about us? So it from what they tried to do to stop the bigger cities and the bigger states from having too much power, they've given other people too much power now. And so it's something that really definitely needs to change.
So I just want to chime in on 2 things. Joe, can you bring up Jordan's comment was just said? But then I just want to make note, just for Mike's comment as well, is that, you know, with the Electoral College, what we can do is still apply the ranked choice system, but it will just, you know, be based on the rankings from the people within those states, and then those delegates from those states will be pushed towards, the electoral college. So we would still have a ranking system, and these smaller states will still have a say. But it would just be a better democratic approach to a better democracy approach to, choosing our leaders going forward.
I'd like to chime in real quick on Michelle's comment here. She says, because that is where people live, the people of this country. We should abolish the electoral college. It is unnecessary in the digital age and not representative of the popular vote. I would disagree with you, and I'll give you my reasons why. You're entitled to your opinion, and I can share some information on my opinion, and maybe it'll get, as we like to say here, we like to have discussions, not arguments. So
make sure you don't unfriend her just because you disagree.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We like to share information with each other and opinions, and if we can't do that, then we can't grow. So I think that, as she said, that's where the people live, but that's where a majority of people live. And so someone that lives, I was saying this before the show, someone that lives in New York, in the city, has a totally different view than someone or needs and wants from their government, say where Jonesy is right now in Kentucky. So he's in Kentucky in the middle of a farm, right? So that guy in the middle of the farm might have more of a need for different pieces of government, different legislation, different policies, different laws. And so to say, in my opinion, and you're entitled to yours, Michelle, in my opinion, if just because the majority of people in New York City and LA want a certain thing doesn't mean it's good for Kentucky or Tennessee. So I think abolishing the electoral college wouldn't be a great idea, because you still want to have some sort of even keel as to every state having a say in what's going on. But reform, I can get on board with reform. I can get on board with altering it for the modern age, because she said in the modern age, the technology age. I forget what she said.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And just like to that follow up on that, with that being said, Joe, this will eventually lead to a good government, because, voters will elect leaders who, have the support of the majority. Electors will more likely to listen to all, and the cities will be able to enjoy big tax savings and keep majority rule, with a reformed electoral college. Now, hopefully you can bring back up Jordan's comment about the American political system is corrupt.
Yep.
All right, perfect. And so what I want to say was that, Congress cannot get anything done because it's not equipped to get anything done anymore. It's no longer a tool suited to its original purpose of making laws and providing oversights for us. It has instead become a theater used by both parties to stoke the outrage of their base. At the end of the day, we don't have to pick sides. It's time for us to come together across ideologies, across parties. It's time to unite and fix our democracy, because regardless of where our politics falls, at our grassroots, the American people don't deserve to pay taxes to a system that is rigged against them. So
I'd like to put up Michelle's backup comment, because this is exactly what we're going for here. She likes the dialogue we're cultivating and appreciates my perspective. This is how we grow. We share information with each other instead of saying, shut up, you're wrong, I don't agree with you, and having everybody shut down immediately. We share ideas with each other without turning everyone off right off the bat with shut up, you're wrong. I see shut up, you're wrong so much. I know you guys do too. And shut up, you're wrong is never the way to approach a conversation. No constructive conversation has ever ended well or in a positive light, or any positive information has been shown, because people shut down. You hear shut up, you're wrong, boom, you're shutting down. You're not listening, and it's just more yelling at each other. And yes, I'm glad you appreciate it, Michelle, because this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to bring different perspectives, different ideas that can be discussed and shared, and we can all grow from it, instead of just screaming into the void, my team's better than your team. And we don't want that. We want people to learn from each other. And that also is why we're pushing for ranked choice voting and third parties, because the system isn't doing us any favors, and we need to have these voices and these middle grounds. And like JC just said, Congress is useless right now. Congress is absolutely useless, because like he said, they're fighting each other. They're just fighting each other, and it's a platform for them to push their agendas and push their party. They're not out there helping us. They're really not. Sorry, go ahead, guys. I took over.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we have one final section that we want to jump to, but I think I just wanted to end with, everyone who's listening, don't fight each other. Let's fight corruption.
Yeah, exactly.
Just remember, everyone has their own perspective, even if they are incorrect. Why are they incorrect? What gaps in their learning do they have, or what implicit biases do they have that could potentially blocking them from understanding what a truth is or what their truth is, or what the actual truth.
Don't even think about it this way. I mean, we're always so quick to think like, what is their bias? What is our bias? I could be completely wrong. So like, not to say like, oh, they're biased. Like they could be informing me and putting me onto something. Cause like I said, like, I wasn't up to speed with, ranked choice voting, but Liz put me on to it. And, now I'm like a pro ranked choicer now.
So I'm getting text from John, who I guess he was trying to message me on Facebook, but I can't look, and he's been commenting plenty, and we have a lot of his insight, which I appreciate because it's what we want here. I think after this week, we've discussed it. We're going to start opening up to guests coming on the show. We're going to have some roundtables because we can have up to 10 guests in these streams. So keep an eye out on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram for when we're announcing our roundtables. And we want to pick some people that can bring some real solid, different viewpoints, intelligent, conversational viewpoints, no arguments, debates, healthy debates, not yelling and screaming, and having a conversation that we can learn from each other from. That's the goal. And I would love to invite John on. He had some really great insight, and I'm sure you guys would too. So we're going to add some guests. We're going to add some guests in here. We really love the audience participation. It's really helping us build the show and helping us see what you guys are thinking throughout these discussions. My wife's looking at me so strange because she's used to my last podcast where it was not the same kind of format. She's looking at me like, wow, Joe, you guys are smart. Who knew? No, she came in here to get booze.
There we go.
Do we want to jump over? Do we want to jump over to the last segment, or do we want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's finish up. Oh, she. I thought she was giving this me to drink. She just wanted to show everybody what it is. It's really good stuff. Fisher Island lemonade. I thought I was going to get to drink it.
Oh, I know.
So we're going to move on to our last part of the evening. WTF? What the facepalm? JC, you want to take the reins?
Take it off.
All right. So what the facepalm? Today, I want to bring up Starbucks and wearing face masks. So, in California, in San Diego, there was a young lady who went into a Starbucks and she wasn't wearing her face mask. And so what she decided to do was broadcast to her followers how Starbucks is not serving her drink because she refuses to wear a face mask. Like, really? There's signs all over Starbucks saying you must wear your face mask. I'm in California. You got to wear your face mask out in public right now. And so she posted this video trying to get this gentleman in trouble who stood up to her, doing the right thing, and was just trying to, degrade this person. And what ended up happening,
he's doing his job. He was told that's his job to do that. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It bugs me. We give him a hard time.
Yeah. And so like what my facepalm is just like, this person is trying to belittle this person when this person was just trying to do their job and do the right thing. And so it's really a facepalm because people are not taking this virus serious at all. And what ended up happening, oh yeah, John knows about this. This guy ended up getting $16,000 from a GoFundMe. So from other people who respected his decision to stand up for his rights. So my facepalm is for this young lady or this Karen in the wild who is trying to belittle someone for, trying to do their job.
And that's another thing too. People got to stop trying to dox everybody that they disagree with. That's another thing. Like we were saying, having a dialogue and having a discussion that we can grow from as people and as humans. You can't just say, this guy told me to wear a mask, take a picture of him and say, don't go to that Starbucks. Or if you do, give this guy a hard time. Come on, guys. We're all better than that. It's a slight disagreement, man. It's not like he was in Central Park saying, I'm going to call the police and say, the black man, throwback to last week, a black man is harassing me. That's a different story. That woman had a very aggressive, racist, whatever approach that we've discussed last week. Tune in, go back on Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. But this guy was just doing his job. He was told by his manager, make sure everyone wears a mask. He says, make sure everyone wears a mask. She takes a picture and puts his info out there. And it's like, come on, man. We got to get past that nonsense. I know it's the digital age, but that is unacceptable. That is just not how we better ourselves, how we better the country, how we better our communities. Mic drop. Go ahead. So, Jonesy, you're going to take the next one?
Yeah. All right. So my what the facepalm is this comes from HuffPost. Apparently, we have had multiple problems and numerous problems with coronavirus right now. Apparently, there was a monkey in India that stole samples of a patient's blood that was positive for coronavirus. Now, I got a lot of questions with this one.
Who's directing the film?
A lot of questions with this one. First question is, if you're studying the coronavirus, wouldn't you have a high level security of what you're running right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Second, how do you let a monkey steal your vials of blood? Like, how does this even happen?
Right, like a monkey just ran through the front door, ran through security, ran through into the sterile environment, like Heisman, one of the security guards, grabbed a vial of blood, hauled ass out of there, and just everyone was just standing there with their mouth open, like, how'd that happen?
But wait, where did he go with the blood?
It just ran away. It stole it like it was a stolen banana and just tried to run away.
It does sound like Outbreak. John's one of the other Johns is chiming in. It does sound like Outbreak.
But this is like, how does that happen?
Yeah, why we have so many J's in the comments? It's pretty funny.
It's Jordan,
John, Jonesy, Joe, JC.
Yeah, I like it, but we like it. Shout out to everybody that chimed in. I think it's a good time to wrap it up. We went a little long this week, but keep your monkeys out of your freaking labs. I almost cursed because I'm excited. But keep your monkeys out of your freaking labs, guys. What is the monkey doing in the lab? Get the monkey out of the lab.
Yeah, what is going on here? Like, just, I gotta move.
Monkey.
Facebook, really.
So I guess we're going to close it up for this week. I'd like to shout out to all of the audience members that chimed in: John, Michelle, Jordan, Mike. We had anybody I'm forgetting, Sim, anybody I'm forgetting. I'm not trying to leave you guys out. Make sure you guys go check out our Patreon. As I was saying before, I will put the information on the screen. Patreon.com/the TMI Podcast. If you have $5 a month you want to throw us, if you enjoy the show, it doesn't have to be this week, maybe next week, maybe whenever you can afford it. We have the rich family members and friends section. That's $20 a month. You know who you are. We know who you are too. We know you can afford it. We want to take care of these hosting fees. I mean, it's coming out of our pockets at this point to do this, and we enjoy doing it, but we would like to be able to grow. And with, as we were saying, with the political climate, you need money to grow. You need money to get seen. So we need some money to get seen. So that's what we're trying to do. We are on some social media platforms. I believe Facebook is my department here. I'm the one that pretty much helps on the Facebook side of things. So facebook.com/the TMI Podcast is where you can find our live shows, all of the updates about this show, and the recorded version, so you can go back if you missed it. And we've been posting memes and things that we find are funny, because we're trying to have fun with this show, as well as bring our voices regarding current events and hot topics. We're not going to do politics every week. I know someone just asked me, are we doing politics every week? I don't think we have to do politics every week.
No.
Right now, it's a hot topic, so.
Yeah. Mike just asked what the next show is about next week, and I'm kind of leaning towards cancel culture.
I love it. Yes.
Oh, cancel culture.
Let's talk about cancel culture. And so on top of Facebook, also check us out on Instagram for some great memes, some good content right there. We're trying to grow our followers to 500 by the end of the week, and so check us out on Instagram, Total Male Introspective, and
share.
It over to share, please. Yes.
Please share the clips we put up. We're going to give you guys some highlight clips to share, full episodes. Please share. These are family friendly. Well, PG-13. We try to keep it so that people can be confident in sharing it to their personal page and not feel like they're going to have any issues bounce back on them. So
yeah, especially those of us who teach children for a living, this is really helpful.
Yeah.
Check us out on Twitter, also Twitter and Periscope when we go live at the TMI Podcast. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's about it.
6 p.m. Pacific time also.
And this is our outro from now on. Everybody, keep the conversation going.